Hey fellas, Rusty coming at you. Today we're gonna take a peek at a Sodbuster in old red bone, pocket worn, and it's got the corn cob jigging. So I have a pretty nice Sodbuster collection. I got a lot of greens and I don't have a red, and I'm really hoping for the case dark red and carbon shield to go with the rest of my knives from that series. But this is all that is really out there, and I got a pretty nice one. There's your tank contact, decent spring. Actually, it's a little soft on the spring, but we have good blade centering. Okay, we're going to talk about this cover here, and this is old red, pocket worn, and corncob jigging. This was first introduced, I want to say, in 1996, and the reason I say that is we're going to see, I've seen a canoe that said first production run, and it was 1996, and it was just like this canoe. And this canoe is from the year 2000, and it has an interesting, so Case does a pretty good job of using up shields. So in a transition year, you're going to see a shield that's considered maybe older. This is out of the 80s and or 90s. So they would switch the shields, and you get some of these knives, I think, with this shield and some with a newer shield, and I'm not sure what that change would be when they started using what. But what I do think is this has more pocket wear look, and I think that what they do here is a knife has bolsters, right? That's these end pieces, and they have to make it fit, and this knife does not have that, and so it's all the same, and you don't get this as much pocket worn, if you will. And when you don't, you get a different shade. It tends to be a darker red on there. So all right, I have a few case Sodbusters. In fact, let me grab one. I have one with me, and the one I have with me is the case Crandall Jig. This is Crandall jigging in pocket worn, and this is corncob jigging in pocket worn. We can see how the blade centering looks. I'm just gonna try to compare. Okay, this is much easier. Yep. If you would rank this one at a 5.5, I would rank this one at a 4.5. So as far as the pocket worn, almost feel like you can see they got into the jigging a little bit on that, and it disappears some on there. They didn't overdo it, but let's see here. Okay, I already saw that. Yeah, it doesn't spring back, and all right, so it's a little bit weaker. It's not at the point of sending it back, so we'll keep it. And it's just part of, these are now 2 of my old red bone corncob jigging. They make this in they make trappers in this that are out there. I'm not sure if I'll grab any of those or exactly what we'll do. I want to keep these short, but I'm going to add an Easter egg, so it's coming up. And voila, here's an Easter egg. So I'm showing these Easter eggs partly to benefit my channel and encourage people to go back and or sign up for the release of the video. And in that, I'm shooting a lot of these videos all at once, and we're doing that in the summer of 2024. And I don't have any, I mean, I get my knives when I come across one, I find one, I shoot a video on it, and then I try to find a slot for it in the fall and winter and or spring. But this is from Pal Cutlery, and it's gotta be, gosh, 60, 70 years old. Pal quit making knives in 1953. So that would be the latest that they could have made this. I don't know much else about the history of this knife. But what I do know, tried to share in the video, and we're not going to go over that here. You'll have to check out the video. Okay guys, thanks for joining me.